So if you're looking to maximize your gems, make sure you reach rank 1 of the current rank that you're in. On this alt account, I didn't really play that much, but we are using Spright, and I guess this is why they're nerfing it, because, I mean, the results speak for themselves. This deck was absolutely insane. Flawless so far in gold rank, just 4 more wins to get to gold tier 1, maximizing our gems, and we're on a 12 win streak in the current rank, carrying over from silver. So yeah, doing work with Spright. Let's go ahead and take a look at how some of these matches are in an easier tier. Alright, we got a pretty good competitive match here. Going second, our opening hand with Spright is pretty good. The opponent is on Sword Soul going first, so they're likely going to be setting up a Chisao, Baron to floor, and a set card or 2 board, backed up by a hand trap or 2. So this opponent starts off as expected with the Chisao, drawing with Moye and searching the Long Young with the Chisao, pitching the second copy of the Emergence that they revealed in order to summon the Long Young and go into the Baron to floor. So they got Monster Negate, Omni Negate, a set card. Is it a Blackout? Probably not. Maybe a Called By, something like that. Imperm. And then Ash and or Maxi in hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4 potential interruptions for the opponent. Let's see how our turn goes. We draw a dead Bestial for turn because the opponent has no Lair Drucks in graveyard. We are of course starting off with Fenrir, the best starter for going second probably now in the game. The opponent is basically forced to negate this with Chisao because if they don't negate the search, they're going to have to negate when I attack with it to banish face down. So they might as well just straight up negate it right now. This eats up 1 interruption, and it's still a big body on the board. This also makes my Talons live, but they still have the Baron Omni negate, so we don't want to play the Talons into that because the Talons has too much value to get negated by Baron. This is a very interesting one. I summon Beaver and they chain Maxi. I have to chain my cross out, and I'm like, okay, he probably negates this with Baron. I'll probably special summon once with the Beaver, give them a draw 1. Talons take the Baron pop card, attack for a bunch of damage. Or I actually might be able to go for game playing through the Maxi if I Talons take the Baron. The opponent is pretty smart here though, and they opt to save their Omni Negate. So they're like, the Maxi isn't worth potentially getting OTK'd because they probably know that Spright will OTK through their board if they use their Baron negate. They have to save it for a critical junction. So I test them again going into sprint and going to be able to dump an Angler here. They don't negate the sprint dump. Then I chain Angler, right? And then they do reveal the face down interruption. It is a Call by the Grave. Still holding onto that Baron negate. So at this point I'm like, okay, I'm going to change up the plan. The Tactics talent will not take the Baron. I'm going to go straight into a 3200 gigantic Spright, and I'm just going to beat over your Baron because I have eaten up your interruptions now. I'm not going to let you Omni negate with Baron, and my Talons, instead of being used to take or draw, I'm actually going to now use it to look at your hand most likely because I'm about to dominate this game. So I play through the interruptions here, get the Baron off the field. Now because I still have Spright Jet in hand that I brought off blue, I'm going to be able to go Swap Frog extension and just pop off here going for the search of the starter because we're going to grab either red or carrot depending on what the opponent has in their hand. We're going to dump the second Swap Frog here and just get the Swap Frog extension. This is why Spright is getting further hits on the ban list. Last day that Spright is alive here. So maybe a misplay here going into IP because I probably should have Tactics Talons first, looked at the hand to see if I needed to, well I guess yeah, it doesn't matter because I'm not going to take this, right? But it would have let me know should I have gone into Melfi or just go straight into IP. So I technically should have done this first before going into IP, but we are going to spin back the Ecclesia, leaving them with a Dasher in hand, which reveals to me that they're playing Fusion Destiny in their deck. And so just in case they top deck Fusion Destiny, I don't care about a monster that they top deck. I am going to go ahead and activate Spright Carrot. Why don't I need to go for red and care about a monster? Because I still have Fenrir, which will not be negated next turn. And yes, while they still have their Chisao on board, I can easily Masquerena into a Unicorn, spin it back. It is untargetable since Elf points to it, so they can't target it with Chisao to negate. And then that leaves my Fenrir open to disrupt any monster that they draw, my Carrot to disrupt whatever spell they draw. They know it's over and they end up surrendering, playing through that Sword Soul board with Spright. So losing this coin toss, our opponent opted for us to go first, so they're probably on some kind of OTK cheese, but our opening hand actually isn't the greatest. We're going to be forced to normal summon Maxi, which prompts the opponent to chain Maxi, so smart on them before we start special summoning Spright cards, which are going to be harder to come by after the ban list and Spright Jet goes to 1. Nonetheless though, sure enough, that's why they made us go second, because they're on Numeron. I put back Numeron wall for no reason. Like, when you think about it, kind of dumb to do that, because if I put them under Gigantic, they can't use it to special summon and save themselves. But I'm thinking like, you know, next turn or something, whatever. They have 2 Numeron field spells, so no point in bringing that out. But essentially my plan is to get the Carrot out and the Herald of the Arclight to negate whatever they try to put up and break through my board with. Not that they have any board breaks right now, so they just end up surrendering. Alright, in this matchup we actually opened up Fenrir as well as 2 Spright cards, and this is again what you're going to have to kind of do if you're relying on playing pure Spright, using the red and the Carrot as extenders now, not just as their Omni-Negate component, since Jet will be limited to 1 and blue is already semi-limited. So we're going to go into Gigantic first, just to potentially play around in Nibiru, but normally you would want to go Sprint first, so that you can use the Sprint to make Gigantic and then bring Elf to the extra monster zone. But I do make some odd plays, not going for the Masquerena, opting to go for this setup instead, which will end me on Carrot and Red, as well as a Call by the Grave interruption and Fenrir interruption, as well as a Sprint interruption. So we've got Special Summon Bounce by detaching the Gigantic Spright material. We've got Carrot Negate, that's 2 interruptions, so Spell and Trap Negates. Red Negate, which is a monster negate, 3 interruptions. Fenrir Banish, 4 interruptions. Called by, 5 interruptions. Bestial Enhance, 6 interruptions, assuming we can free up space. And then we've got Extension Play with Elf to bring back a blue to get extension plays for next turn, which you can't count as a 7th interruption, but it's, you know, follow-up, and this is why Spright needs Elf. So the opponent reveals are on Branded Bestial here, and they're going to try to use Albaz. I will happily negate that with red, then use the open spot to bring back blue to get my extension play. They then attempt to use Branded Fusion, and I'm like, man, what are they... Do they not know what Spright does, or are they just really trying to bait out my interruptions to go for evenly or something? But they just end knowing that, yeah, there's nothing they can do. So at this point, we are going to save the time and just go straight battle phase. No challenges really left to complete, being the last day of the season, and just go for game here. Okay, we'll banish a card just to get you know, the lifetime challenge done. But easy GG with Spright. Is the nerf going to be enough to have this deck fall off? Like I said, it was the most popular deck I ran into in my master run in Season 20. You know, last night when I played for like an hour or whatever, I had a decent amount of going second matches, but now tonight, which is like the final night of the season, I'm getting like a lot of going first, winning coin tosses, so we'll take them. Starting off, you can probably already tell Quantum, why didn't you summon Fenrir? Yeah, I didn't actually like see it in my hand. I just immediately went for starter, and then I was like, oh, I have a Fenrir. So yeah, that's not great. I should have probably just let the Ash Blossom resolve, but no. I need the starter to resolve so I can extend with blue. I was just hoping they didn't have Max C on top of it, and obviously they would have chained it to the cross out, because then they would get the draw off of the Jet coming to field. We go for an odd play here. I guess I'm just trying to practice for next season a little bit, maybe. Going for the red to play around Nibiru, which technically shouldn't really be played right now until the new ban list comes out, because tournaments should still be quite frequent. But yeah, the opponent kind of sees that we've got like all the extensions. I mean, we don't even have all the extensions because we didn't bring Carrot, so we're definitely susceptible to like a spell board break or a trap board break. But this opponent was actually on like a top tier deck, or you know, a decent deck. Runic Kashtira fully decked out, right? So I don't know why they resigned. They probably could have at least put up a fight, but it is what it is.